Okay, so in September 2021, Monzo launched Flex, which is a buy now, pay later tool that allows eligible users of Monzo to spread the cost of a purchase. This method of paying by installments is booming, and it has predominantly been driven by millennials and Gen Z, to a point where we now have entire generations of shoppers becoming debtors, basically individuals that owe money. The companies they owe money to are mainly Klarna, ClearPay, and Laybuy, and now Monzo wants to get in on the action. And after playing a part in disrupting the banking market, they're now looking to challenge another industry. And it makes sense considering 72% of their customers are under 34 and the average age of someone using BNPL is 25 to 35, so it's a great fit for their demographic. It is a competitive market though, and since launch they've reported 35,000 people now using Flex, although that's nothing compared to Klarna's 16 million UK users. But if they can stand out against Klarna and differentiate themselves, they could poach some of those users. With Flex, you not only get the option to pay in 3 installments, but also 6 and 12. Although if you were to choose 6 or 12, you would pay interest, which is currently a rate of 19% APR. This is variable, so Monzo can change it, and you may actually receive a slightly different rate to someone else because it is based upon your financial circumstances. Now, once you've chosen your installment plan, Monzo then takes the first installment, and after that, you're charged each month on your payment date until it is paid off. And with Flex, you can use it to pay for pretty much anything, whether that is online or in store. And this is all pretty standard stuff. And Klarna also offers 3 monthly installments at 0% alongside their pay in 30, which means you have 30 days to pay something off. Where Flex and Klarna really differ is in the larger installment plans. Although this isn't as widely available, Klarna does have financing options on more expensive products such as Peloton. This includes installments of 6, 12, and 36 months with interest currently no more than 18.9%. With Flex, there's also the ability to use it on purchases you've made within the past 2 weeks, which I guess could be beneficial for someone that's had an unexpected cost and perhaps needs to recuperate some funds from a previously made transaction. Also, just like a credit card, Flex includes Section 75 of the Consumer Credit Act, which is essentially protection in case anything goes wrong with something you've purchased. Klarna does not provide this, but they do have a buyer protection policy, which they claim will support you if you have any issues with a transaction. Now, Monzo will give you a pre-approved credit limit, which I believe could be as much as £5,000, and you'll be able to flex as many purchases as you like, as long as the total amount is within your limit. So to see how much credit you can get and whether you're eligible, you'll need to be registered with Monzo. And once you are, you just access your account via the app and click Get Started with Flex. You'll need to enter some personal financial details, and then Monzo will perform a soft credit check before letting you know whether you're eligible. Which apparently I'm not. Now, while I was going through Monzo's 2022 annual report, I actually discovered that when it comes to their approval process, they use data from their app as well as credit history held by agencies. And I was just approved for a mortgage, which shows that I have good credit. So I may have been rejected today because I actually don't use my Monzo account and therefore they have no information on my spending habits. And given that Flex has a waiting list, it's likely that I'm just not a priority. And maybe that tells us that if you register for Monzo to purely take advantage of Flex without otherwise using the account, then you may have difficulty being approved. And while that rejection won't have affected my credit score, if I was successful and I did use Flex, it would. Klarna, if you only use their pay in 3 or pay in 30, doesn't affect your score. Obviously, if you apply to use their financing, it will. Flex, regardless of how you choose to use it, will impact your score. Although I don't think your score in terms of the actual figure, so for example, the one you may see on Experian, really actually matters. It's your credit report and borrowing history that lenders will see, and your use of Flex or Klarna would be included in that. So both could be used to build positive credit, but also if used poorly will negatively impact your credit history. So if you weren't rejected and successfully activated Flex and now you have your credit limit, you can make transactions through your Flex virtual card. So you can use these card details to make a purchase online or add the card to your Apple or Google Pay and use that in store. There's also no contactless when using it, so don't be afraid if the amount of the purchase is greater than the typical limit, which is currently £100. Just make sure you have enough money in your current account to cover the first installment. And if you want to flex an existing Monzo transaction from the last 2 weeks, you can just go to your app, tap the transaction and choose to flex it. There are some transactions that aren't eligible, including payments made via Monzo's saving pots, cryptocurrency purchases, and a few more, so I'll include this page below in the relevant links. Monzo doesn't charge a fee if you're late making a payment, and they'll give you 7 days to catch up. You won't be able to flex any new transactions during this period, and it may affect your credit score. If you don't catch up within 7 days, Monzo will try to take a smaller amount by switching you to a larger installment plan, which would then incur interest. And if that continues, Monzo will report your account as being behind. Basically, avoid missing a payment, and if you do get behind, you have a 7-day window before things really begin to get messy. With Klarna, the exact details on what happens if you miss a payment is a little bit more ambiguous, but as far as I can gather, if you miss a pay in 3 installment, then they'll try again on a later date. And if that fails, then they will add the amount to your next payment. Also, like Monzo, missed payments or late and unpaid balances will be visible on your credit file, so you really should avoid missing a payment. And that's why it is important that if you use either Flex or Klarna, that you ask yourself, can you absolutely make these repayments on time? And can you even afford this purchase without using BNPL? Because if not, then do you really need to buy this? This doesn't mean that buy now, pay later is like an evil trick to get people into debt. And with historically expensive interest and overdraft fees, it is great to have access to 0 interest borrowing, but it is also causing people to accumulate more debt. That's why it's important that you approach this type of lending with caution and consideration. There is some friction when trying to use Flex, which I've discovered, and this could be used as an argument in favor of Klarna. For example, like me, even if you have a Monzo account, you could be rejected. And if you're not an account holder, you'll need to open one which will require ID verification, and obviously that'll take time while you wait for approval. That said, in their most recent annual report did say that they're aiming to make Flex available to everyone, including non-Monzo customers. Klarna is arguably easier to use, and as long as they're partnered with the company of the product you're purchasing, you can easily use it at checkout. Obviously, if a vendor doesn't provide Klarna, then you'll need to do a little bit more work, which actually I discovered when purchasing a GoPro for this video. I had to download the Klarna extension, add it to my browser, and then create a virtual card. This was all pretty easy, although comparatively to Flex, if I was approved, I'd have my Flex virtual card already saved in Apple Pay, so it would have been slightly easier. For those that care about their credit score, unlike Flex, Klarna's pay in 30 or pay in 3 won't affect this. And that could be a reason to choose Klarna. On the other hand, Flex does provide the ability to go back in time and split previous purchases, as well as provide Section 75 protection, which I would have more faith in than Klarna's buyer protection policy. But is that really enough to kill Klarna? I don't think so. I can see Flex being a cool feature for existing Monzo account holders, or perhaps a tempting proposition for someone considering opening an account. It is innovative and to some degree unique, and I think it will further aid Monzo's customer retention. It'll also help them build up their account holders and obviously improve their balance sheet through revenue earned from interest and also through cross-selling other Monzo products. But I can't see how it will have a significant impact on Klarna's business here in the UK. Yes, Monzo has 5.8 million accounts, and some of those users will be using Klarna, and a small percentage may switch to Flex. But is that really going to be enough to kill Klarna? Let me know what you think in the comments section, and if you are considering opening an account with Monzo, then check out this review I made. And if you do already use Monzo Flex, then please let me know what you think of it. Take care.